I'm doing something a little bit different this Friday, this Fish Eater Friday. Yes, I'll keep answering questions, and you've sent in a lot of good ones. But I think it's my turn to ask a question. And I have a question for the traditionalists, specifically the Sede Vacantists, because I already know the answer of the Sede Privationists and the Society of St. Pius X, both branches now, since it's branched out with Flay running one side and Williamson, the de facto leader of the other side. So, my question is, how will the great apostasy end? That is, how will the crisis that began before Vatican II end? We're all in agreement, the traditionalists and myself, that Vatican II is wrong. Now, there may be some good things in there, but there are heresies in there. Everyone agrees that Paul VI was a heretic. John Paul I most likely was. John Paul II was a heretic. Benedict XVI was a heretic. Actually still is. And so is Francis I, a heretic. They all agree on that. I mean, we all agreed on that way back in the early 70s. We're sorting this out. The only disagreement is over the position of the Pope. The Society of St. Pius X holds that they are popes. They just pope sift them. Rome has spoken. The debate is on. Is this the Pope, or is this the modernist side? Jekyll and Hyde type. The Sede Privationists have stepped one step back. They say, while he remains a modernist, we can ignore and must ignore everything comes out of his mouth. Every decree he signs. But when he converts, then he will become fully Pope. Society of St. Pius X, when he converts, then we're totally in. And so, to these people, I am going to put a question. Let us just say that Easter Sunday morning, Pope Francis I comes out in full Roman vestments with the dalmatic and tunic underneath, with the tiara, the sedia gestatoria, and celebrates a papal Tridentine Mass. He gets up at the sermon and anathematizes Vatican II and all of the heresies that have come since then. This would be a miracle. This would be exactly what the Sede Privationists and the Society of St. Pius X tells us we're waiting on. But how many of them would actually follow him? How many of them would come into full union with him? I'm going to take a look at one Sede Privationist, Bishop Donald Sanborn. I don't think he would. But we'll wait and see. I don't actually see George Bergoglio doing what I just said. In fact, the Sede Privationists, some of them might say, well, he would have to come out and ask for conditional ordination and consecration because he ordained the new rite. But let's get to the Sede Vacantists. The Sede Vacantists have gone to the logical conclusion of the condition of the Church. They wipe out Vatican II. They wipe out the Vatican II, quote, popes as heretics, and because they're heretics, they can't be popes. They are anti-popes. And so the see of Peter is vacant. So, the question is, how will the see of Peter be filled again? I happened to be watching a video of Father Chicota, and he just kind of said, well, he doesn't know. He just brought the question out his own self and says, he doesn't know. All right. I'm looking at the Sede Vacantists. I'm going to look mainly at your priests and bishops. Bishop Dolan, Bishop Pivarunas. Those would be the two major ones. Bishop Vesalis has a successor now. I think of Bishop Sante. We'll look to your bishops. Because, let's face it, you would be in the eyes arrow, and you'd be the top line. There's no Pope. Hence, there are no cardinals. By the same reasoning, Can 188, paragraph 4 wiped all of them out a long time ago. There are no archbishops. Bishop Took wasn't really an archbishop because he was invalidly appointed. Archbishop Lefebvre is dead, but he was never a Sedevacanist. Okay, you're the top line, bishops, and priests, you're the next line down. Father Chikati, you write a lot. You've spent a lot of time in the books, probably more so than the bishops. And so, how will the vacancy end? We know it's a matter of divine Catholic faith. It must end. The Vatican Council is quite clear, and there's only one Vatican Council. It decreed in 1870 that Peter will have a perpetual line of successors until the end of time. Well, according to you, Sedevacantists, there is no Pope now. I would say an interpretation of that would be that there will be a Pope living when the final trumpet blows. Or if there's a vacancy, the Pope will have just died. He won't have died 55 years ago. We won't be in the middle of a long vacancy when the final trumpet blows. Because that would make an appearance that the Church actually ended in 1958. Because it didn't have a Pope at the end of time. And I think that would be tantamount to heresy. So, how will the vacancy end? You know I have an opinion, and I acted upon it. And my opinion was shared by Bishop Took, Bishop Carmona, Bishop Zamora, Bishop Musi, Bishop Vesalius, at one point in time. Your bishops once shared my opinion. And so, how will the vacancy end? And the next question, what are you doing to try and end the vacancy? I'm going to look first to the bishops and priests. If you believe the papacy is vacant, do you ever celebrate a mass for the election of a pope? It's in the Roman Missal. You should be praying for the election of a pope. Pope Pius XII said that all the Catholics should pray for a speedy and unanimous election. Well, speedy is out of the question for you. But unanimous still is in the question. Why aren't you organizing an election? And so, I'm going to leave you with my question. I'm going to also look at you lay people. What are you doing to try and end the great apostasy? And no, I don't believe the great apostasy is over either. I will discuss that in a separate video. And so, Sedevacantists, what are you doing to try and end the vacancy? When and how will it end? Or has it already ended? I'll leave you with that on this Fish Eater Friday.